I get parents say, can you fix my kid? Your kid doesn't need fixing. God, they're beautiful. We just need to adjust and shift what we're doing, because the fundamental need of a human is that they need to feel safe. They need to feel loved and belonging. I remember when my kids started the change, hitting puberty, and I used to get, I hate you. And I used to say, that's okay right now. I'm going to keep loving you for the rest of my life, regardless. And I just leave it. There's nothing to come back to when you say that's okay to feel the feels. I'm just going to keep loving you through all that feel.
Yep. The best way to combat hate is love.
Yeah, I'm loving you through your frustration. I'm not even going to name it, because for me to name that as anything but hate would be disrespecting where you are right now. I can think inside my head, gee, you're frustrated. Wow. At another time we can maybe connect over this, but right now I'm just going to pour the love back and then just give you space and see what happens.
Yeah. Through our journey, Nicky, as parents, as we all know, and I'm sure there's a lot of parents listening to this now, but as parents, when we go through a lot of those experiences and we hear what our teenagers say to us and our kids say to us, at times we can feel like we're failing. How do we overcome that as parents?
I remember one of those most awesome days in life where everything was going wrong and everything I touched with the kids was just going to shiatsu, right? And I just in frustration went, this is the first time I've parented a 14-year-old, You're not a piece of IKEA furniture. You didn't come with instructions. Help me. Because I just couldn't understand why I just wasn't good enough in my mind. I felt like a failure. Yep. And their little faces were the honesty of that vulnerability of I've got no idea what I'm doing here was quite a door opener for all of us, which comes back to that, reflection that I had that our parents would have never said that. I think I grew up thinking you're going to hit 25 and everything's going to fall into place and you are so going to know what life is. And I got to 25 and I went, oh, maybe it's 30 for me. And I got to 30 and I went, no, this can't be it. So that, just being vulnerable enough to say, hey, we're not, and you think you're getting you got it right with the first one. You go, okay, I've nailed it. I understand the first child. Okay, we're getting through this. Well, the second one's not going to be the same as the first one, either is the third, fourth, fifth. And so every beautiful soul who comes through your family unit as part of it is a unique set of challenges, and they're going to have a different learning style. They might be highly visual, highly auditory. They might think differently and have some sort of incredible diversity superpower that you need to recognize and nurture and grow with. And so you need an IKEA instruction book for each one of them, but none of them come with one.
No, and like an IKEA, sometimes maybe there's a screw missing sometimes, and there's a piece missing, or there's two left over, and you go, that'll be okay.
Yeah, should be right.
I'll sit on that one day and I'll break it, or I'll fall off it or something like that, and I'll go, that's where that screw was. But I actually think they sit in the factory and they go, we're just going to put some extra pieces in.
That's right. Let's really make someone's day.
Now, I wanted to ask you, I've always had an approach, and Trace has always had the approach as well, that we really focus on the mental health of our children when it comes to school, when it comes to life. And it's interesting speaking to teachers, speaking to principals, and the journey of our two teenage boys as well. There is a real issue with absenteeism at schools, and kids not wanting to go to school. And it's interesting, I said to a teacher not long ago, I said, you're really putting a focus on kids attending school, but can we put a focus on why the kids don't want to attend school?
Yeah.
Let's turn this around. You're putting it on it's a problem with the children or the child. It's actually not. It's actually a problem. Like if you've got a workplace, right, a business, and people don't want to come to work and people resign and you have a really bad retention rate and the productivity is down, the results are down. Now, do you sit there and go, it's all their problem? Why are all these team members?
Yeah.
Why is there the problem, right? Now, our education system is broken. I don't care wherever you look at it. I think it's completely broken. And
it's
we
written
focus
for a different day and age, isn't it? It's just
It
not.
is. It is. You know, it's like it's the, you know, like the square peg, you know, like round hole. It's just we're wanting our kids to be unique and be their individual self and unleash their personalities and everything. But we're going to put you in the same classroom with the same kids teaching the same curriculum. And I know there is different systems out there that are changing that, and there's different school setups, and we are getting a lot better at it. But, you know, things have to change massively. But for me, I've always focused on if our son hasn't felt great about something, or either of our sons hasn't felt great about something or hasn't felt right, I'm happy for them to stay home, right? Now, it's not day after day after day, but it's about how do we get these kids to interact more? So I'd love to know your approach, how your view on how you have managed that with your kids and how you're seeing that kind of play out in society.
Great observation and question combined, Steve. So this comes back to a real fundamental piece that I like to work on, and that is that our kids aren't broken. We just need to adjust the way we communicate and work with them, right?
Love it.
I get parents say, can you fix my kid? Your kid doesn't need fixing. God, they're beautiful. Okay, we just need to adjust and shift what we're doing, because there's this, you know, there's the fundamental need of a human is that they need to feel safe. They need to feel loved and belonging. And those two things, well, loved and belonging sort of group together. And so safety is yes, we've got a roof over our head, great. Safety is also psychological safety as well as physical safety, the knowledge that we can get through together regardless. So that resilience piece is a part of that safety piece. But that safety piece is also comes back to being acknowledged and that belonging. So if you don't, it comes back to when we were cavemen. If you didn't belong to a tribe, your T-Rex would eat you when you went out to get the water. Or if the woman didn't belong to a tribe, then as she lay and gave birth, a dinosaur would come and get you, or something would happen. So we've got this fundamental need to be part of a tribe. It's prehistoric. And to feel like we belong means we need to be seen and heard as individuals. So you've got a whole lot of teenagers who are wanting to belong to a tribe. They get to a certain point in their lives where they've belonged to their family tribe by default, but now they're blossoming into their own little unique individuals. They've got amazing hormones going through their brains that are making them slightly irrational. Their prefrontal cortex has gone off to Mars for a couple of years. You get flashes of brilliance combined with someone who can't tie their shoelaces. And so they're really struggling to feel confident within themselves because they don't understand the brain fog comes and goes and it will clear and everything's great. So they're struggling to feel great. They don't feel seen and heard as this new individual, but they have a sense that they're becoming something new, and they know that they want to be seen as more than the daughter or the son. They want to be seen as the individual. And we've got a whole lot of parents, teachers, people in society who don't say, I see you for who you are, and gosh, I accept you for everything that's going on right now with greatest amount of empathy and compassion. And that leads to, I don't want to go to school because I don't feel part of a tribe at school, because everyone's in fight, flight, freeze because they're all having hormone moments and they can't, that's a really difficult situation. And teachers, I don't think, are trained adequately to navigate that system and navigate that part of the teenager's journey. So if they don't belong to a tribe at school, they don't want to go. If they find a tribe outside of the home that gives them more or greater acceptance than the parents, then that's a teenager who leaves on the bus and for days and doesn't answer the phone and doesn't have a problem with it. Or we have a teenager who locks themselves in their room and has a fantasy world where they're acknowledged and seen and heard and part of a tribe that is a virtual tribe that may or may not give them that real, connection with integrity. And so as teachers or trainers and mentors in the space, we need to be able to start seeing people for who they are. And if someone's having a huge hormone day, to not belittle them or put pressure on them to do what they did yesterday, to understand that their learning's going to be up and down and all over the place. And to understand that they're really developing, whether they're highly visual or highly auditory or kinesthetic, or they've got a read-writing preference. And that may shift and change a little. It won't much, but we have to give them grace, with grace, and understand and just be there. And I think, a lot of parents say, I don't know where my kid goes. Your kid goes to where they feel they belong.